Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Nurturing Astrology podcast. I'm Dominique Jaramillo, your astrologer and host. I believe astrology can fast-track personal growth, improve relationships, and empower parents. On this show, I will bring you practical guidance and insight from my own work, studies, and life experiences, as well as interview experts to bring you stellar wisdom from other teachers and professionals to inspire you on your journey. I'm so glad you're here and thanks for tuning in. So sit back, enjoy the show, and be sure to follow, like, and subscribe to catch every new episode as soon as it drops. Your shares and reviews are also much appreciated to help more people benefit from nurturing astrology. Okay, let's dive into today's show. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Nurturing Astrology podcast. I'm Dominique Jaramillo, your astrologer and host. Today, I am here with a very special guest, David Bensimon. Hi, David.
Hey, Dominique.
So, David is an astrologer and the author of our sun-based astrology series, Little Crab Finds a Friend. This is an awesome series of books, children's books. And so we're connecting today because it's Leo season and the sign of the sun and children and fun and play and expression. And so I thought it was the perfect time to have David on. I've just released the second book, and I thought, let's get in and have some fun and try and spread the word about this awesome series that you're writing. So a little backstory about David and I, how we met. We connected at an astrology meetup group here in LA many years ago, actually. I had just had my son, and we sat down and chatted astrology, and he's like, I have this really great idea for a children's book series. And I was like, okay, like I just had my son. I'm so into parenting with astrology. Like, I'm in. Please do it. Please let me be a part of it. And he was kind enough to say, okay, let's do that. And he brought me in, and now I write the parenting guide for the back of each book, for the end of each book. And it's been such an amazing journey. I'm really proud to be a part of it. And, David, I know that, you've probably shared your story a lot, but I'd love for you to share a little bit about how you came up with this idea, why you came up with this, and how you were inspired to write this series, and sort of a little bit about your journey. And so people can get to know you a little bit better that might not know you from my community or my mom's community. So tell us all about it. How did you decide to come up with this great idea, and a little bit about your journey?
Absolutely. Okay, so I don't have the most conventional journey to writing a children's book, as in I am not a parent, nor was I a parent at the time coming up with this idea. But I always, when I first started really getting into astrology, the archetypal exploration of each sign, planet, that always obviously fascinated me. It was so vivid and so visual.
Yeah.
And so I was actually briefly dating someone who was a Leo. And I remember thinking how funny would it be to see a little crab, as I'm a Cancer sun, and a lioness just hanging out. And I think just started really, I remember I was in a Target and I was by myself, and I was randomly in the children's book section. I was looking at DVDs, and I stumbled upon that, and I just started thinking about, wow, that would be such a fascinating exploration if we took the more literal archetypes of each zodiac sign and brought them to life and had them interact with each other. And what would that look like? And wow, I bet that would really help kids grasp an understanding of themselves, that they maybe a deeper understanding of themselves that they maybe didn't have, and of their peers. That was the initial impetus or spark.
Yeah.
This idea. And I thought, well, I'm not a parent. I can't write this. Maybe one day if I ever have kids, or, maybe at the time I was pursuing screenwriting. So I just thought, okay, not now. But I kept the idea would not quit nagging me. It would not leave me alone. And so when you have that creative muse just kicking you lovingly, you have to go with it. So I just started writing, and I was like, let me just see what this would look like. And it just kept coming and coming and coming. And then that's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with this. Feels really right. And this feels like something so different than anything I thought I would create, but so aligned and right. And I, at this point, I didn't call myself an astrologer yet. I wasn't seeing clients, but astrology definitely occupied a huge a huge space in my brain at that point,
Yeah.
huge amount of data in my brain. And I was just, found it, like started seeing like the world through an astrological filter. So I started writing, and soon after I came to you, one of our monthly meetups, and I was like, Dominique, what do you think about this? And your enthusiasm for it, and your encouragement and excitement really just kind of like double lit that green light for me. And I said, okay, I'm doing this. And I didn't plan on like making it a certain way. I just was like, I started getting really clear ideas of like, I want the character to be a crab, but not like these red boiled crabs we see represented. I wanted to be like, I wanted to really call from nature. So I just started going to a deep dive of like natural photography or nature photography, and coming across like the yellow crab that became our hero. And I knew I wanted to start off Cancer. And then later when I learned about like Thema Mundi, I was like, oh yeah, that's like perfect. But at the time I had not yet uncovered that piece of information, but I was like, well, the Cancer is the origin, I mean, Cancer is kind of like the original you, where we start this journey from. So I went with that, and I'm biased. I'm a Cancer sun. I thought, write what you know. And I knew I wanted to be a journey, and I wanted to be an exploration of each zodiac sign. I wanted to be an adventure. I didn't want it to be a standalone, well, like this book is just about this sign. I wanted it to be one zodiac sign's exploration of all the signs and those interactions.
Love it.
And I did know that, and I knew that I wanted to be like chronology. And I started writing. I knew the first book was going to be like an origin story of the Cancer zodiac, and then it was going to go in zodiacal order. So yeah, that's a lot of information, but that's
No,
sort of
it's great.
what sparked everything.
That's great. A great story. And I love how that happened. And really, like you said, you weren't a parent, but it was like your own inner child yearning to do with this journey. And so it does speak to the inner child in us. As adults, we can read it and get a lot out of it, not just the children, and you, I think, went on that journey. It's like your inner child journey, and the sun and Leo, the fifth house, that is the Cancer. It is about the early childhood and the inner child. So it still was like your journey that you went on as you're writing it. So I thought it was perfect. And it's not just for kids, because at one of our events, we met that young lady, and she was like young, didn't have children. And she was like, oh, I love the books. I love nurturing my inner child. And I thought, oh my God, that's so great. I love that there's actually people who don't even have kids that are really vibing and really attracted to this story. And what a great journey to go on as a young person before you have children, if you want them, and just to have that. And I think that's what you want. You want people to go on the journey with the little crab, right? I mean, this little crab, tell us a little bit about the story, how he gets lost from home and his journey, and who he meets along the way.
Right. So the little crab has a very comfy life when we meet him. He lives in a sunken submarine. He's raised by just his mom. She's his school teacher. He is surrounded by oodles of cuddles and support and nurturing. But then through a sudden twist of events, he is kind of swept away and taken out of his home and set on a journey where he has to get back to home. And I think that this idea of returning to home and finding home wherever you are was a big overall theme for this story. I mean, definitely Cancer having to do with our connection to our roots and home was a big part of that. But just this idea that you're going to go on a journey to explore every zodiac sign, and maybe there is a certain amount of like unfamiliarity or even discomfort at first, but there is this opportunity to feel at home everywhere you are. And I think my biggest overall goal of this book, especially as it pertains to kids and connecting with children, is just letting every child know like they belong, and they can find a home wherever they are. And the sense of belonging is something that Little Crab really gets to understand in each book. He explores these new territories, these new astrological worlds with each book. and they're all so different from each other. And each time he's thrust out of his comfort zone and into somewhere new. So as the book starts, his first encounter with the zodiac friend is Aries. And, he has to tap in to bravery. He has to tap into courage and what that means. And in spite of like great odds or even danger, it's like, can you still tap into that sense of bravery, of like an indomitable spirit, and I think also the little crab in each book also, while he learns lessons from the zodiac sign, he also gets to teach the other zodiac signs. And there's this like interchange of like the Aries ew, learning like, oh, it's great to save other people and maybe not just save myself, like use my bravery to help others and not just help me. And so through each book, as the little crab gets closer to home, each zodiac friend helps him get closer. And they each kind of impart their own knowledge or their own insights with each other. And the whole point of this is to make it as fun, plucky, wild of an adventure, and to really embody the significations of each zodiac sign within the book. So, for example, like, yeah, Aries is not a bedtime story. It's pretty exciting. It's a lot of adventure. There's a lot of twists and turns. Whereas we go into like the Taurus plains, it is more about like the Venusian connecting with your senses, connecting with nature. And so it's a little bit more of a steady path. And then the mercurial nature of Gemini and it like comes into it, and the duality is explored, and the power of words is explored. And then when we get into the Leo book, the lioness, showing your creative spirit, showing what you can do when put in a spotlight, and being being really prideful and proud of who you are in all ways, and embracing what makes you you. And then when we get into the Virgo book, it's about being thorough. It's about sometimes the details. It's about, the value of completing tasks, the value of seeing the small within the big. And so, each book, and, the little crab goes from being on like a boat to, inner city for Scorpio, to the mountaintops with Sagittarius, to like a hovercraft with the Aquarius scientist. Like it's a really diverse landscape. And all the while there's a map that the little crab is following. It's the map on the front of the book, and it's a map that the little crab gets in the second book. And so you see the journey of where little crab's going. And, he takes like what he learns from each book, from each zodiac sign, and he uses that in his other books. He uses that in the other interactions with other zodiac signs. And so there's this building on, almost like a video game, like unlocking like different worlds, like unlocking different zodiac signs. You retain that knowledge. And that's why I wanted it to be an adventure. I wanted to encourage people to explore every zodiac sign, not just their own sun sign, moon sign, rising, because you have every sign in your chart, in everyone's natal chart. And for children, it's a chance to like get to know different aspects of themselves, but also to understand their friends and understand the point of view of people that are maybe different than them, or people they've never interacted with, or coming across points of views they've never heard before. So that is sort of the long take of the little crab's journey.
I love it. It just warms my heart too. I love it. I love it. It's when you talk about it, and it's so inspiring, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is so great. I love the higher purpose and the vision for it, and the journey. I love it. I get giddy like a little kid every time we get together and talk about it. And I get so fired up about it because it's beautiful. It's meaningful. It teaches, it helps us as parents. It helps children. It helps human nature. It helps build compassion and love, you got to be able to see people why I would be like, yes, let's do this. I want to be a part of it.
That means so much to me. I get so charged writing it. And as someone that like, creating something brings me more joy than anything I can do in this world. When I like work on Little Crab, it never created something that feels so much like it's 100% of my essence, or 100% of like
Yeah.
what good I could do in this world. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
really appreciate your encouragement, enthusiasm, and you were a big part of like helping me push this into reality. And it's been a journey, like the little crab.
Yeah.
Like I'll say this really quick. I remember the last time Venus retrograde in Leo, there was a huge children's book conference I went to, and I was really like, this is when I was, I wanted to go the traditional publishing route. We hadn't yet self-published the book. I had the manuscript of the first book, but when I first wrote the book, I kind of hid the astrology. It
Hmm.
wasn't as apparent. You would have to like know astrology to reference, to like pick up on the references, but I was a little bit coy with the astrology, and I
I
wasn't
remember us
super
having
firm.
those
Yeah,
conversations at meetings, and I was like, look, you have to decide, do you want it to be in there? Do
exactly.
you don't?
So flashback 8 years ago to last Venus retrograde in Leo, and we're at this I'm at this conference, and I have a meeting with the publisher, and she went over the book, and she didn't get that there was
Mm,
astrology involved. She thought it was like another like going like character leaving home for the first time to go to
yeah.
school type of. And I mean, it hit me hard because I was like, oh no, I hit the ball. I hit the astrology. Like, and my girlfriend at the time, now wife, like Lindsay, like we went on the rooftop of my like East Hollywood apartment, and she's like, okay, I know this sounds crazy, but we're gonna burn this old draft, and we're gonna like you're gonna create, you're gonna from those ashes create something that really highlights the astrology, and you love astrology, so why not like showcase it front and center. And so that was like, the start of the current iteration of the book, and really putting astrology at the forefront. And that was when I was like, I want to self-publish it. I want to self-publish the first two books to establish that as a series, and to show people that this is a completely unapologetically astrological kids book. And so that was the goal. And it's interesting looking at this Venus retrograde in Leo
Mm,
again, and the 8 year patterns. Even when I look back to like 2007, I'm like, wow, like I can see how this all kind
yeah.
of was building. So yeah,
Fascinating.
a little bit of astrological tangent flashback, but
No,
I
I
definitely
love
see.
it. I love it. And God bless Lindsay. That was awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I
that was
remember tiptoeing around that. And I was like, honestly, like, because you're a screenplay writer, because you wrote screenplays, like you had this
mhm,
really, really great way of writing. And I remember the first drafts and being like, this reads like a movie, David. Like I can see this as like a movie, you know what I mean? Like a Pixar. Like I was excited about like, me, big vision. I'm like, oh, down the line, it's going to be a movie, right? But because you have that skill already, but then I was like, the lessons are there, and there is this universal story that's in there, and life lessons. And I do think that a lot of the life lessons transcend the astrology,
mhm,
because they're life lessons, right? You don't have to have the astrology, but if we're gonna do it, and it is going to be about bringing astrology to the forefront and really showing the value and the practical use of it in life, let's go for it. Let's go all in on the astrology. And I was so thrilled that you did, and that it turned that turning point for you, because then you stepped into actually becoming an astrologer as
yeah,
well.
definitely.
And that set off the journey of, okay, I'm all in on this thing. I want to be an astrologer now too, you
Yeah.
know?
And you know, initially we always had your parenting guide in the book. So I was like, okay, well that will be the like legit astrology, and then there'll be like
Right.
allusions and references to in the story. But now it's so cool because the little crab is into astrology, the
Yep.
character, and
Love it.
he's taught astrology by his mom. And so then when you read your parenting guide, which I absolutely love, like it's the person you're referencing from the event, she read the parenting guide, and she's like, this is like reparenting for me. Like
Mm,
I can use this. Like, although it is like geared towards like, hey, a parent, learning about their child's zodiac sign, being informed of their child, the characteristics of this child's zodiac sign. You absolutely, it's so accessible and
yeah.
so clear. And it connects so beautifully now to the story. I think that the
It does,
astrology
made
is
it whole.
prominent in the story, and then the parenting guide. And so your parenting guide is adds such value
Oh,
in the
thank
book and
you.
is inextricable to the little crab experience. So very
Oh,
great for
thank
that.
you. Thank you. That means a lot. That means a lot.
I read a short passage from book one, like maybe
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure.
okay, so I mentioned kind of like not really highlighting the astrology directly in my initial draft. So here's an example kind of the little crab talking about his zodiac sign of Cancer. Okay, let's see. Here are a few things to keep in mind about my Cancer zodiac sign. We feel best when we are kind. We daydream about going back in time. And we need to talk about and share our feelings instead of just piling them up to the ceiling. I look forward to each night when mom reads to me about the moon. And it's like, she tells me the moon will always show me the way. Well, then the moon will always show me you, I softly say. So a little bit about kind of some of the characteristics of the Cancer sun sign and a little bit about the celestial body luminary that rules Cancer, the moon, and of course the connection to mom that
I love it. So cool. So in the book, when you open up, you list each of the signs and the dates, and you talk about that our sun sign is like our superpower, right?
mm-hmm.
So that's, I think, a cool, like, gets kids excited too about superpowers. But why did you go with the superpower theme of the sun sign?
I think exactly what you said. It's something that connects with children. And astrology, like, I mean, I think every person that studies astrology knows how at times esoteric it can feel. And at other times it can feel like the most tangible, like, thing. So I love like talking about the elements because it's something we
Yep.
interact with every day. And so I really wanted it to be something that kids could visualize and kids could associate their sun sign with having these unique characteristics. And as you said, like power and superpowers is something a lot of kids relate to because they're always looking. I mean, I think that like everyone, but especially children, you're looking to what makes you feel special and what
Yeah.
is special. And I think this is just giving form. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just their sun sign. So there's so much more power to explore and so much more magic to unearth in their
Yeah.
zodiac. And this is just something I thought would be relatable to kids.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of empowering. I think that's another big the book is to empower children and to recognize, in certain situations you may feel really different or maybe awkward. Even other situations you're instantly really at home and comfortable, and like
Yeah.
astrology kind of can sometimes point to why that is. And so
Yeah.
you can, just recognizing like that we all have different areas that we naturally shine or
Yeah.
kind of project. And so you can learn about those as a kid and also recognize that you can shine in that area too.
Yeah.
And we just need people to shine first so we know how to do it too.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Our sun is that strongest force. It is that vitality. It is how we shine our brightest, our, highest potential, if you will. And that's what we're talking about parenting. You want to like really nurture that. And you shine the light on each of our, superpowers, our essences, what we bring to the zodiac. And then by learning and meeting other people of different signs, we start to realize how they can enrich our lives and how we can enrich theirs, as opposed to you're different from me. And so that doesn't fit, or I don't like that, so it really that compassion and really going, oh, well, what can this person teach you? What can this friend who's different than you, teach you about yourself, and what qualities do they bring, and that make that friendship richer and more exciting, and bring out the playful side of you, or the more, the more curious side of you, and what do you bring to them, and so that's the relatable thing that I think is really great for kids too. And parents can talk about, oh, your friend Susie's an Aries, and how is she, and
Yeah.
oh yeah, and when we go to so and so's birthday party in September, like that kind of thing. And it just gives kids like that excitement about who their friends are too, and what, the exciting things about them
And if
that they
all of
can
your friends have
celebrate.
powers, how cool is that?
Yeah. And
And
like
then
we
it's
all can
like,
celebrate each other.
yeah, yeah. It's I think it's another way to celebrate diversity and to promote
Mm,
inclusion. And that's definitely
yeah.
another the book series. And
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I know we were talking about the superpower. So it's definitely like you started to go through it already a little bit about like the signs and what each sign superpower or gifts are and stuff like that. So I think you made some notes maybe to share, because I know
yeah,
everybody is going to be like, okay, what's my superpower? What's my kid's superpower? Like, I want to know. So maybe
okay,
run through and share some
let's
of
run
the
through it.
superpowers of the zodiac, each sign, and we can kind of riff on that, and yeah, give everybody a little something to get them excited about for themselves and to celebrate.
Absolutely. I'm gonna actually go in reverse
Okay.
zodiac order and go from Pisces to Aries, because
Ooh, all right.
just sometimes I feel like the last four zodiac signs, like when I'm listing stuff off, I have a tendency to go in like zodiac order in my head. So I'm gonna just switch it up.
Shake
All
it
right.
up.
So Pisces superpower is dream power. Making
Mm,
your dreams real, the power of imagination, the power to spread love to everyone in the world.
I love
Um, Later in life, you can point out to certain like celebrities and notable people, Albert Einstein, Kurt
it.
Cobain,
Yep.
Dr. Seuss, people that embodied that superpower. So
Yeah.
Aquarius, Dominique, the power of invention, making the future out of your ideas,
Mm.
seeing every angle and knowing what people need. You know,
Oh.
the power to know as much as you want to know, and to know where other people are coming from. Capricorn, the power to climb high, to reach the highest heights, to also build something strong and sturdy from the ground up. The power to always do things the right way.
Oh, love it.
Sagittarius, the power of adventure, going anywhere in the world you want to go, learning about every different part of the world and every different type of belief.
Love it.
Scorpio, power of seeing in the dark, seeing through darkness and discovering things in the dark and not being afraid of the dark, of helping people see beneath the surface so they can understand themselves better and not be as afraid of the dark or things they don't understand. And also the power of passion and helping people find their own passion. Libra, balancing power and the power of friendship. You
Mm.
can help people get along who are in a disagreement, or help people settle arguments fairly. You can make friends out of enemies or people that you don't agree with. And then also to kind of help other people regain their balance, is another power. And Virgo, the power to fix anything by seeing the micro problems and other problems and other issues that others can't see. The power of details, the detail power, being able to see the little issues that other people may not notice right away. And then I have alternate powers for some of the signs, and this one for Virgo is helping to organize and encouraging others to volunteer. Power of organization.
Yeah.
Superpower I am still trying to learn myself. Uh, Leo, shout out Leos.
Yeah.
The power to shine, the ability to shine a bright light, expression power wherever you go, to shine that light, to show your talents to the world. And I'll, like, as an alternate power, to help other people share their special talents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cancer, the power of feelings, feeling power, being able to know what someone is feeling at any time, even if they don't tell you, and being able to share your emotions and feelings so others feel safe doing the same. And also just making any place you go feel like home, and making other people feel at home and a part of a family. Gemini, the power of curiosity, asking questions power, speaking power. With this power, you can find the answer to any question and share that knowledge with others. and that agility and quickness, power to change direction at any time. Taurus, the power of determination, of never giving up, staying power. You can move forward no matter how shaky or unstable the ground is. And then the alternate power of like the five senses: smell, touch, taste, hearing, and seeing, enhanced senses. And now Aries, the power of bravery power. You can be the first person to do or try something new and show others how to do the same. And then alternate power is sticking up for yourself and others. So that's just, yeah.
Oh, I love it. Ugh, so great. So great. I can't even like, it's perfect. So good. I mean, those little things, think about those little things. If parents can give their children those nuggets, how empowering that is. You know what I mean? I love it. Perfect.
Thank you.
I love like, I'm so excited about this. Now, what is the plan? Okay, I know we have a couple of books already out. We've self-published and you're working on illustrating. The whole journey is essentially written, right? You're just like, we're in this process of like unfolding. What is the plan? Where can we get what's available now? And what's the plan and hope for the future?
Absolutely. Okay, so the first two books, the Cancer book, book one, and then the Aries book, they are published. You can get them online at all fine book retailers, including Barnes and Noble, I think even like Target. So you can get them online.
Awesome.
I'm working to also get them into more bookstores across Los Angeles locally. Um, and I have the entire series mapped out, and I have the next two books written, Taurus and Gemini. I'm doing like kind of revisions on both of those right now. And my goal is, I wanted to self-publish the first two, but I don't intend to self-publish the entire series. I would like to find a good publishing home.
Yes.
So I'm seeking literary representation right now and a publisher so that I can, release the remaining books. And I'm just so excited because I think that I use the significations of each zodiac sign as my creative parameters, and which to me really broadens it out. And my goal with each book is to really represent the zodiac sign. And that means that like maybe I do change format a little bit. For example, it's really fun. Like I've decided the earth sign books are not rhyming books, and the little crab is aware of that. And like it's one of those things that I've really enjoyed, that creative freedom. And I feel like as long as I kind of use the zodiac sign and the astrology as my creative guide, it has given me a lot of like boundless freedom, which I've enjoyed,
Yeah.
and creative freedom, and also just really made it seem truthful to each sign. So
Love
yeah.
that idea. Yes.
And we have an incredible illustrator,
Yes.
and her ability to capture every organism with so much love. And we want, the book, we try to be I don't know, zoologically sound with each organism, but at the same time there's a lot of creative licensing and freedom.
Yeah.
But we did want to really pull from nature, and we want the imagery to really reflect the zodiac sign and the nature of the zodiac sign. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really excited. I think getting this adventure out is something that will be really beneficial to children and be a really exciting discovery of an astrology. That's kind of my goal, and to encourage further exploration. Doesn't have to be of astrology, but just of like themselves, of what makes them tick, what makes them
Yeah.
the unique little person they are. So yeah, I'm really excited. I've been working on the Taurus book this week, and just, it seems to go with the Jupiter. Like I seem to, I'm like, okay, if I can release, like each sign, like while Jupiter is transiting that sign, that's kind of cool. Maybe I can do that. But I
That
would
is
like to have
cool.
them, my goal is to have them all out sooner than later.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
definitely. Publisher would be great to like be able to accelerate that for us.
yeah,
You like know what you want and you can show the publisher like the project and how we want it to go, and then like have that support behind us to like go. So yeah, shout out if anybody knows any great publishers might
Yeah,
be interested
hit
in this
us up.
series. Like we are shamelessly going, yeah, we need some help. We want some we know we want a publisher to help move this forward. I know you're probably doing your research and submitting to publishers, but maybe somebody out there knows of one that this would be a great fit for and can reach out to you and and let you know, or to me and
I
say,
think
hey,
this
let David
series
know.
has immense potential. I already have like mini spin-off ideas. And I
Oh yeah.
think, I think the characters, I really aim to like bring these zodiac characters to life, and each
Oh my
one
gosh, yeah.
its own personality and like
Oh
own
my gosh, I can only imagine. That's what
catchphrases.
I'm saying. Like the
Yeah. So
creative potential is boundless. I'm like, and I do like the t-shirt and stuff. I'm like, oh, we need like kids t-shirts to go with the books. We got to do workbooks. We got to do this. Like
merch is coming.
merch is
Goal is to
coming.
have action. I'm like a huge action figure nerd, so I'm excited for that one day.
Oh
Little
yeah.
action
It'd be
figures.
so fun. Oh my gosh. Well, David, this was so fun to finally get together and like be able to chat about this passion project. So share, how can people find you? Now we know that the books are available on all the places you can buy. And didn't you tell me that you're working on an audio release as well?
I am. Yeah,
Okay.
I recently recorded with a friend of mine the audiobooks, and
Okay.
also released like a YouTube reading of the books.
Fun.
So yeah, I am. Audiobooks are coming. The books are available also digitally. So through Kindle, through KDP, um, and through I believe other digital platforms as well.
Okay.
It's not just Kindle.
So how can people find you?
So
Your
you can
site?
find, I do a unique brand of astrology at Little Crab Astrology at Instagram. I have my website, littlecrabastrology.com. Funny thing that I've recently been like making the connection of is, so I have a like kind of sassy stuffed animal named Miggy's a koala, and Saturn rules, or Saturn, my 10th house is Saturn. Saturn is in my 6th house of, among other things, small animals. So it's sort of my like figurehead for me is like with the little crab and this like very sassy koala. But I do I love Instagram just for connecting with other astrologers, and I get really inspired by what they're creating, and I just try to create fun, entertaining ways to share the astrology.
Yeah, Mickey's like your playmate. You guys always doing fun stuff with him.
Yeah, yeah. I think he likes to troll me. I don't know. The dynamic is like tough for sure. But yeah, I think you can see my love of like the Muppets and all things Jim Henson and my Instagram page. So yeah, Little Crab Astrology. Follow me on Instagram. I'm on Facebook too, and
you offer services, right? You do readings now.
I do. Yeah, yeah. For about, wow, 6-7 years now, I've been seeing clients, and yeah, you can book sessions at littlecrabastrology.com, consultations. I love working with clients. Really charges me up.
Yeah.
And so my favorite things is to explore someone's zodiac chart for the first time or fifth time, and
Yeah.
Just to have a constructive, creative session.
Yeah. The learning never ends. So really it's awesome. Even after the 20 years, 30 years, whatever, I've been looking at my own, like it's always evolving and learning more about myself all the time.
You taught me so much. So I met you at the astrology meetups. I think that was like 2010 or 11 or something. And
well, Joseph was born in 11, so it was
okay, so it must have been
before that, or just after that. He was 2, right? 1.5 maybe when I met you. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So probably around 11 or 12.
Yeah. And I remember just being like, oh my God. Like, when you learn how deep astrology can go, and you were such a big part of encouraging my own studies and the depth of those. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. This is a match made in heaven. I'm very excited that my energy helps you and yours inspires me. And like, it's great. And I'm really excited about the future. I know the little crab is going to find many, many homes and more friends. And I'm excited about the journey to continue with you. So Thank you so much for being here. And thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and I hope you gained some great astrology insight and inspiration from today's show. I'd love to hear, so drop me a comment or share in a review. Check out the show notes for all the details and links about today's episode, how you can connect with me on social or work with me directly. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Oh, and for my moms out there, be sure to join my private Conscious Parenting with Astrology Moms group on Facebook. Come join a growing community of like-minded mamas supporting each other in the hardest job in the world with the help of astrology. Hope to see you over there. Take care and keep nurturing the nature, friends. I'll see you on the next episode.